In the near future, people live in a post-apocalyptic world. Most of the life on Earth got wiped out, including edible plants, animals, a great deal of human population. Humans tried to prevent impending ecological crisis by investing massively in genetic technology. Two kinds of people live these days: the elites that thrive in the citadel, the poor who live on the infertile wasteland which hardly produce anything edible. In these wastelands lives Vesper, with her father Darius. Darius used to serve in the Citadel army, but after getting hurt he got paralyzed. All he was given is an old scrappy drone which he uses to communicate and accompany Vesper wherever she goes. For food, people rely on seeds traded by Citadel, but it only produces one harvest. Anything edible is very hard to find these days. Vesper is looking for anything edible along with Darius. After looking for some time, she digs up something edible and puts it in her bag. A beautiful caterpillar sits on her hand. She takes it with her and they return home. In front of the house, she is greeted by genetically engineered snake-like plants. Having a little fun, she gets inside and makes soup, puts some worms in it for protein, goes to Darius and feeds him directly to his stomach. Artificial life support system has kept him alive since he got paralyzed. After feeding him, they head out for the old lab. Entering the area, they watch out for any harmful plants. Entering the main room, Vesper sits next to a dead scientist's skeletal body and shows him the caterpillar. She collects a sample of it, which she will study later. Vesper has a keen interest in synthetic biology, she has taught herself. Suddenly a sound is heard, so they quickly get out to check. It turns out to be a pilgrim. Pilgrims are humans, mostly females that do not show their face or speak to anyone. They just wander around scavenging old junk until they die. Even after spotting them, she just goes on with her work. On their way back, she says she would like to follow one to see where they take that junk. When they reach home, someone had already broken in. All those lively plants are dead as well. Darius says that probably they are gone because he does not hear any noise. They get inside and check everything. The bacterias which keep the electrical power running through the house are stolen. The tank in which bacterias are cultured is damaged, so she stops the pipes from leaking. Since the power is out, the life support system starts to shut down. Jonas is the only guy nearby who can help her. In these dark times, Jonas has sheltered the orphans. He provides their all necessities. They live like a family with Jonas as the father. He also has a transceiver with which he can connect to Citadel. He trades blood of the young ones for seeds. Vesper goes to his place. She enters his open door and sees a gathering. A Jug is seriously injured. Jugs are loyal slaves created in labs. All the children are gathered there. One of them is trying to help the poor thing because he was in charge. Since there is no way to save it, Jonas takes a knife out and orders him to put it out of misery. He takes the knife, gets on it, but it shakes him off. Everyone there starts laughing at his weakness. Even the ones who don't understand what's going on, they laugh seeing others. Upset and angry, he gets on it once again and completes the job while feeling a mix of emotions. Watching this terrible sight, everyone goes silent. Jonas takes the knife out of his hand, cleans, and keeps it. Vesper joins him, saying that it is a waste of a fortune, and the obvious reply is why she was here. Because instead of living with them, she lives alone. She tells him about the power loss, but he does not do anything for free. As they both enter his house, she says she didn't want it for free. Inside, we are introduced to Skinny. He helps in collecting blood. He inserts a little needle and takes sample to test while smiling at her. She smiles back. During her blood donation, he says she looks a lot like her mother. He offers her to live with them, but she rejects the offer and says one day she will get out of this hell while he will still be sucking his children's blood to trade. Whoa, that was pretty bold. After getting finished, she asks for bacteria, but he says first he will have to trade her blood. It will take at least 2 days. Darius won't survive that long without power. She tries to run away with her blood, but her attempt fails. Jonas manhandles her, carries her all the way and throws outside. The children outside follow the lead and chase her away. She gets to the back of the property and gets inside before anyone notices. She moves quietly and hides as someone's coming. In the house to her left, the Jug killed earlier is hanged. As a couple of wind gliders pass above the place, she runs to the nearest house. and is shocked to see Skinny come out. He leaves without saying a word. She takes all the bacteria she needs, and in another room there are plants and germinating seeds. She steals all of those. While returning home, she sees a wind glider ejecting a lot of smoke. Maybe it's crashing. Reaching home, she goes straight to sleep and doesn't tell anything to Darius. In the morning, she shows him the seeds and says Jonas gave them for free. But Darius knows it doesn't work that way, so he asks again and she admits of stealing those. He advises her to put them back before he notices, but she disagrees and says she will make those fertile, after which Citadel will recruit her. Darius knows that's not possible. After arguing, she goes out to get some fresh air and sees a woman unconscious. The plants around her are sucking her blood. She goes near her, covering her face, or else she will suffer the same fate. She turns her face around and looks into her eyes. She is alive. Vesper removes the sucker from her neck and brings her home. She lays her down, takes the infection out of her wound, and covers it with patches she made. At evening, she wakes up. Darius and Vesper are arguing as she is fixing the power. Why did she bring her home? She couldn't just leave her to die out there. She tries to get out of bed but fails. Hearing the thud, Vesper comes to rescue and helps her to get on the bed. She introduces herself as Camellia, requests to look for the other passenger that's her father. They will start search in morning. At night, she gives her soup with the juiciest toppings. She tells her about Darius's accident. Darius is having a seizure, foam coming out of his mouth. He is shaking violently. Vesper requests him to stop, but he can't. Camellia closes her eyes and her lips redden. She kisses him, which calms him down, and he goes to sleep. Maybe Camellia has special powers. In the morning, when they are out searching, Camellia wakes up and starts exploring the house. Darius senses it and tells Vesper. Going straight ahead, they come across the glider's debris. The ship is down ahead. They quickly reach the ship. She tries to open it because the guy inside is alive and breathing. Jonas arrives there with his children. He seems a little surprised to see her. Also, she got her power back. Upon asking, she tells she found backup supply. He goes and climbs on the ship. The guy inside is mumbling something. He asks him what does they do with the children's blood he trades, and tastes his blood. Disgustingly spits it out. He suffocates him to death. Vesper gets stopped instead of stopping him. He sniffs Camelia's torn cloth and understands someone else was in the ship. He asks Vesper how she found the place. They were looking for food and found it randomly. Jonas didn't let her leave, so she helps in getting rid of the body. After coming home, she lies to Camellia of not finding anything, and they will continue tomorrow. Her wound is healed, and she is surprised to see her intelligence in synthetic biology. To surprise her more, all of them head out to a secret place where all her experiments reside. There are many different beautiful glowing plants, little glowing flowers, plants that look like bulb and seahorse. After connecting with each other, they glow in pattern. That is an amazing sight to watch. Her first creation didn't go well. Gradually, she is getting better. Returning home, Camellia asks when did her mother pass away. She answers she left them, became curious with the pilgrims, and followed them. Vesper gets a little emotional. She shows Camellia an old picture book and asks if she can tell her what animals sounded like when they existed. She tells her about them and their sounds. They both make their sounds and have a good time. Next morning, Vesper and Darius sneak into Jonas's place to get to the transponder. Much to her surprise, Jonas has already got him. He says he is fixing the gyroscope. He asks why is she trespassing. She didn't want to get beaten by his children. Jonas tells her about the seed robbery, and Skinny said bugs took them. He breaks something inside, throws it out. He tells her to hold the side open and shuts the lid close to scare her. With a visibly angry face, he goes to grab something, while Vesper makes a run for her life. Jonas signals his boys to get her. Running far away, she tells him to fly, but he wobbles around, making weird noises, and lands down the way. She goes ahead to get it and sees Skinny, worm, and bugs all over him. He has been dead for a while. Hearing footsteps, she picks up the drone and starts running. Before long, they surround and capture her, and one of them presses a machine on her palm, which leaves a mark. According to Jonas, this mark shows she is now one of his children. Darius can't do anything to help her. She carries the drone home, tries to fix it, but is unable to. When Camellia asks what's wrong, she hugs her. Camellia asks about her father, and this time she tells her the truth. She is shocked. After seeing him, she enters the water and breaks down into tears. Vesper drags her out and discovers she is a jug. She looks different from the one earlier. She reveals that making intelligent jug is a crime. That's why both she and her maker were leaving from one citadel to another when their glider crashed. She can't take them to Citadel like she promised earlier. Vesper is super frustrated after hearing all this. Returning home, she fixes the drone and tells him everything. In the other room, Camellia holds the knife and tries to kill herself, but she can't and screams out of pain. Vesper rushes to calm her down and throws the knife away, consoles her. While studying a sample of Camelia's cell, she discovers something special, but she has no idea. Camellia sits and plays some music. A note in the music resonates with that special part, so Vesper tells her to play it again and again. Drops of the samples from earlier added with it unlocks the secret to make the seeds fertile. Vesper is totally happy to succeed in her research. Darius advises to go to Citadel in South ASAP, but she refuses to leave him behind. While she is out to get necessary things from the old lab, Jonas enters their house and introduces himself as their neighbor. He offers her to stay with him, as his big place will be appropriate for a lady. When he tries to threaten Darius, she immediately agrees to go with him. He gets a little suspicious and forcefully handles her to discover she is a jug. He is surprised to see a jug that is practically human. He tries to gain control over her, and he even succeeds. Well, that is what it looks like. But when she tries to kiss him, which will put him to sleep, he understands what is happening. He throws her away as Vesper charges at him because they already knew of his arrival. He picks up the knife and drags her to the table. Darius tells him to stop, but he punches the drone away, but Camellia sticks a knife to his neck. Again, he throws her away. Vesper hits him. When he gets up, Camellia pins him to the table. There is another knife to his neck. Vesper lets him go and makes a deal that he shouldn't contact the Citadel about Camellia, and they will have all the food they need because she knows how to make the seeds fertile. But he isn't that easy. Jonas tells the Citadel about Camellia. Vesper adds all necessary chemicals, and the seeds become fertile. In front of their house, lights can be seen and above sound of gliders can be heard. A slime-like fungus starts growing all over the place. Vesper stops it from going near Darius's body. Nothing can stop it, so they climb on the table to save themselves. It continues growing until touching Camelia's jacket and turns into dust. Darius suggests not to inhale it. The Citadel army will be here soon. They have to leave quickly, but Vesper refuses to leave him behind. Darius tells her how can they hurt him anymore, and convinces her to go. First, the armed men go to Jonas. He is with his children and comes out to meet them, but gets shot down. Then they go to Vesper's. The house is dark and no one was there. They are out. Only Darius remains in the house. When they come near his body, the drone starts flying near the tank but gets shot and it blows the whole place. Hearing the explosion, Vesper runs towards the house crying, but Camellia stops her and tries to calm her. They start running. They run and stand near a bush of red grass. When the soldier touches the grass, he dies instantly. The insects from the grass tear through him like bullets. They hide, crawl from one side to other, super quiet. But a plant near them makes a sound. Now their location is revealed. Camellia slowly walks towards him and runs to attack him, but gets pushed away. Struggling for a minute or two, Vesper manages to grab the gun, but it doesn't fire. Camellia from behind wounds his leg, and Vesper throws the gun into the bush. The bush insects take him out. Camellia says, until she is captured, they won't stop. But Vesper refuses. She puts Vesper to sleep and goes far from her into the shack. Before long, they find her, and she goes with them quietly. In the morning, Vesper wakes up and realizes what has happened. She goes to her burned-down home. In front of it, she plants the fertile seeds. As someone approaches from behind the trees, she takes out the knife from bag. They are Jonas's children. They follow her wherever she goes. She finds a pilgrim and follows her to see where she is headed. Following her day and night, they rest. And the next day, they start following again. Finally, they enter their premise. All of them watch the strangers as they go ahead near the tower. That tower is made out of the things they collect. Without saying a word, Vesper starts climbing. After climbing for minutes, she finally reaches the top. From there, she can see all over the place. For the first time, she sees all the beautiful scenery from above and the well-known Citadel. Hysterically staring at it for a while, she brings the shells of seeds out. Those just fly and fly, high in the air, ending the movie. Subscribe and turn on notifications for more recaps.